had that something in you where you wanted to strive for better. So describe for me, what has your journey been like in life?
The journey it's been very hard because, I was on public assistance, so it was like, at first it was a boundary there. Anybody knows about public assistance, they don't want you to go so far or they're going to cut it off.
When you describe yourself now, tell me, who's Freddie Stevenson, the man that you are now?
A few years ago, I remember in college, they would always have speakers come in and ask us who we are. I wouldn't have been able to answer the question. It probably would have had something to do with football. I'm a fullback for Florida State. I want to play in the NFL. But now it's just simple. I'm Freddie Stevenson, man of purpose.
This is a passion of mine. The whole premise behind the Jazzie Conversations with Jazz podcast is to spotlight the fact that it is now time for you to get your dope comeback story.
Hey, say Jazzie Conversations with Jazz. Jazzie Conversations with Jazz. Say Jazzie Conversations with Jazz. Jazzie Conversations with Jazz.
Every Monday, I call people into a studio and we dig into their comeback stories, because I know that we see people in their glory and we see people when they're on top, when they can have that silver lining to them, but we all go through some things, right? We all go through some things, and I think once we're real with people and we let people know the trials and tribulations that we've gone through, it only makes us human and it connects one of us.
So I just want to know, what would be your advice to someone who is looking to start their own podcast?
First and foremost, let me back up. Find your voice. What are you going to talk about? Is it something that people want to listen to? How long will your podcast be? What's going to be the consistency of your podcast? Are you going to do it like weekly, daily? Are you going to do it monthly? So once you find that, because that's going to indicate if somebody wants to listen to your podcast or not. I do know how I'm doing it. I'm doing it with God. I'm doing it because this is a passion of mine. And when you are passionate about something, you're not going to stop. So it really it comes down to how bad do you want it. Happy Monday, Jazzie crew. It is a fantastic Monday, June 30th. So that means that it is the last Monday of June. And if you have been a part of my Jazzie crew for the past 4 years, then you know that every June I dedicate all of my episodes to great fathers. And so to round us out for the month of June, I do have a spectacular guest that's going to come on and talk about his journey into fatherhood and what he considers to be his comeback story. And so I want to go ahead and ask you to do those things that you know that you do. As soon as you tune in, I want you to make sure that you like this episode, that you make sure that you are subscribing on the Jazzie Conversations with Jazz podcast YouTube channel. That's Jazzie Conversations with Jazz. And make sure that you are liking, you're following, you're subscribing there on Facebook, IG, on TikTok, on all of your podcast streaming platforms. I would love for you to be a part of my Jazzie crew. And so here at the Jazzie Conversations with Jazz podcast, it is very simple. We celebrate the power of the comeback. I truly believe that you can come back from anything with God, using the right resources effectively, and your willingness to do the necessary work. That is my formula for the comeback. And so you know that if you are a part of my Jazzie crew, and if you are just now joining this station, this podcast, I welcome you, and I welcome you to stay connected with us. And it's very simple to do. Just subscribe on all of those social media channels that I described. If you want to meet me in person, which I really want to meet you as well, we have a live podcast anniversary show that we do every single year. This year will mark 4 years of me consistently doing this podcast, which is a passion of mine, which is indicative of what God's purpose is for me. And so, save the date, save the date, save the date. November 8th. 2025. Tickets will go on sale very soon. You will be able to get your early bird tickets. VIP sells out the fastest. And so, if you don't know what to expect when you come to my podcast events, I give you a great venue. All right. We have vendors. At the least, we have 10 vendors that are set up. And then we have food trucks for you to enjoy. Live entertainment. We have live interviews there. We have music. We have all of the things, photo stations, photo booths, a live DJ. We make it a celebratory event, all to celebrate the power of the comeback. And so I would love for you to be my special guest. Again, save the date, November 8th. All right. All right. And so, without further ado, I want to introduce my magnificent guest to you. I'm going to tell you about the power of social media, and we're going to tell this story together because we both shared it. We both have the experience with it. I'm so grateful to have him on this podcast episode. Mr. Gerren Sprauve is my special guest. He is an author. First of all, let me just start in order, okay, in divine order. He's a husband. He's a father. He's an author. He's a coach. He is so motivating if you watch any of his videos. And, you know, he's also an entrepreneur. And boy, does he have a great entrepreneurial story for you, how he got into the business that he's thriving in right now. He's going to tell you all about his book, all about who he is. And so without further ado, I don't want to hold you any longer. I want to go ahead and present to you Mr. Gerren Sprauve. How are you, sir?
I'm doing well. It was pretty awesome just to watch you do what you do.
Thank you.
I loved it.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I really do appreciate it. And so let me tell you, I'm going to go down memory lane a little bit.
Okay.
As of last week, I'm just going to tell you how God works, right? And so we talk about the power of social media all the time. We talk about trusting God all the time. And so I had asked several times on my podcast, on my platforms, you know, send me some names of some incredible fathers. And I mean, I want fathers who are actively engaged in their children's lives, not just people that we assume are good fathers just because we see them, but like I really wanted to dig deep into the psyche of just great active fathers. And so it took me the longest to decide who I wanted to have for this last podcast episode because so many thoughts were running through my brain. And so on last week, God just kind of stopped me in my tracks. Like I was dropping my kids off to their summer session here at my school. And I was going to go back home and get in the bed because I'm on vacation. I really am on vacation, right? And so it was my first day of vacation. It was like either Wednesday or Thursday. And he was just like, you know, just go walk in nature. And so we have a beautiful park that just won like the best park, I think, in the nation here called Bonnet Springs Park. And so I just went to Bonnet Springs Park and I sat on a bench, like on an elevated pier where you can just see out to nature, the lake, the trees and all of that. And I just started praying and I was just like, you know what, God, just lead me to my next guest. Like I want to just trust you. I want you to be a part of who I should select as my next guest on my podcast. And so, funny story, I don't know how I just started scrolling through Facebook. And when I started scrolling through Facebook, your profile came across my Facebook page in the section of people you may know. And so I'm just like, okay, some kind of way, like my eyes just went to your picture. And so I clicked on your profile. And so I started looking at things and I caught a podcast that you were on, but I still to this day haven't watched the full podcast episode. And so on accident, I reached out to the podcast host first versus reaching out to you. And I'm like, wait, how did I do that? So I know he and I have to be connected in some kind of way. It has to be some kind of connection that maybe we'll forge down the line. And I'm like, wait, this is not the person. And so then I reached out to you and then we just started having a conversation. And I may say, I love the way that you vetted that conversation because we both move and work in purpose only. And so it was just like, because, you get people that reach out to you all the time. And it's like, okay, so
Mhm.
you have to determine, why are you reaching out to me? Like, what does this mean in my trajectory of my life? And it's just, our conversation was so rich, it was genuine,
Yeah.
and we both saw eye to eye when it came to, okay, we know what each
Yeah.
other doing, so let's
Yo.
give the green light.
Yeah, and as I hear you just like detail everything, I'm going back to that day because I was getting flooded with so many friend requests and so many people in my inbox, and I too have been praying over the people that I accept in my inbox, right? God, like, should I to this person? I don't know, God, and again, the stuff that comes through your DMs is crazy,
Crazy,
crazy.
crazy, right?
So, so I so appreciate the way that you did it, and I swear that's such a perfect formula to get in contact with me.
Yeah.
If you just detail like what's the reason that you're reaching out, what's the purpose, like just give it to me, man.
Yeah.
Because some people I respond to, and then it's like, oh, okay, all right, let's put that conversation on the shelf. But
Yes.
you laid it out for me to allow me to think through it prayerfully, and here we are. Like,
Yes, we are. I say,
awesome.
so let's let God work,
Yeah,
let's let him do his thing. And one of the things that stood out to me from your conversation is when you said you get tons, your DMs are flooded, and it's like some kind of way, like my message was at the top. And I was just like, as soon as you said that, I was like, that's no power to me. Like it was just meant to be, right? And
yeah,
so I truly believe that you're going to inspire a father out there. I truly believe that you're going to inspire someone to want to maybe connect to the father of their kids, because in the richness that you may, give, when we say that we keep our kids as the number one thing, if they truly are the number one thing, then we have to get past our feelings and just do what's right for our kids,
yeah,
right? And so in the process of me just seeing that you are a great father, because you sent me some clips of you and your girls, which were amazing, amazingly cute. You also, I can also see it, in our conversation, you can just see it. So I've been talking a lot at the beginning, and I want people to get to know you, like who you are.
yeah,
How did you get into the entrepreneurial space? What
yeah,
kind of dad would you describe yourself as? So when you think about, and I know you've done the work to do this,
yeah.
who's Gerren Sprauve? Like, who are you?
Man, oh man, a work in progress, right? Um, Always focused on becoming a better human.
Yeah.
So I surround myself with people who challenge me, people who have my best interests at heart, and we go at it. We go at it, a nice dance of challenging each other, holding each other accountable, and ensuring that we're always on this growth journey. Right? We call it the highway with no exits. It's because we're committed to that journey. So I've surrounded myself with beautiful people like that, and I love them dearly. But who am I at the core, right? So I
Yeah.
was born in Puerto Rico, and I grew up in the U.S. Virgin Islands way back in 1977. So for anyone who's wondering, I'm 47 years old. But I, growing up there, my father was an entrepreneur. My uncles, my grandfather was a dentist, and my mother, my grandmother, my uncles, they were educators also. So I kind of grew up in that valley of entrepreneurs as well as educators.
Yeah.
So studying and learning was always a high priority. And then creating systems and serving others was another high priority. And that's how my uncles, my grandfather, my father, that's how they ran their business, by serving people. So as you can imagine, growing up, my father used to take us to Santo Domingo, the Dominican Republic, for summer vacations. One may say, as a kid, like, Dominican Republic for summer vacations? Well, yes. And we weren't staying at resorts. We were staying with our family members in the
Yeah.
heart of it. So there was a lot of poverty that we witnessed at
Yeah.
an early age. And my father would oftentimes, once he rented the car and we left the airport, we would drive down the street, and the kids knew the rental cars meant tourists. So they would
Yeah.
come beside the cars. And my father would stop the car in the middle of the road and just roll down the windows and tell us to give. And we're like, what do you mean give?
Yeah.
We're
Yeah.
looking at our allowances that we just saved.
You just got.
So here we are handing money out through the window, giving it to kids, giving them whatever it is we had. And he wanted us to learn at an early age the power of serving others. So it didn't matter what, where you were on the totem pole, serve. So fast forward, I'm got out of college, moved here to Florida. I was in Maryland for college, moved here, and started working for a company, an insurance company. And I just didn't feel convicted that this is where I needed to be.
Yeah.
Now, I know there's a lot of people out there who you may be feeling as though you don't want to be where you are right now.
Yeah.
But I was restless, and I didn't have the awareness necessary to see the opportunity, see the abundance right where it was.
Yeah.
But I quit my job and I became a janitor. Now, that was a tough conversation for a lot of the people in my life.
I bet.
Married. My mother, who's an educator, she just sent her son to college. You graduated and you're going to do what? So,
yeah.
But for me, I was looking for that thing, man, that thing that would allow me to serve others. And the story has it that I was taking my wife out to dinner one evening, and we were standing there. Someone was setting the table up in front of us. And the person, he wouldn't look up at us. So you can imagine he's setting things up and, you or me, and he's not looking. And then he begins to walk away to another table.
Yeah.
And I said to him, "Excuse me, sir, thank you." And he looks and he's like, "Well, why would you say thank you to me?" I said, "Because you didn't just wipe down the table. You prepared a place for my wife and I to have dinner. Right. And had you not done this, we wouldn't sit here. So thank you." And he began to smile. And he skipped over to the next table. And he started wiping it down and looking at people. And I just got chills through my body. And I turned to my wife and I said, "I want to do that again."
Yeah.
And what that was for me was creating a thank you moment for this gentleman.
Mm-hmm.
How was it that I was able to just say thank you and say a few words, and all of a sudden this man, his whole countenance changed?
Yeah.
There's something here. I love this. So I quit my job and I became a janitor. After doing some deep searching, some soul searching, going to therapy, I questioned myself as to why would I choose to be a janitor? Because
you're asking the question that is in my head, and I know for the viewers too. Yeah.
Right? Because he was a waiter, right? I could have learned about it, right? But I'm an experiential learner. Yeah. So I wanted to get into the weeds and understand what he may have felt seeing someone like me, and how does someone like me interact with people like him, right? Their roles. So I wanted to feel that for myself. But why a janitor? Gerren, you could have been a waiter if you wanted to be a waiter. I soon realized that I felt there was a lot of unrest within me. And I felt like crap on the inside.
Yeah.
So every time I cleaned something, I was cleaning a portion of me. I named my company Clean Slate.
Yeah.
I don't understand why I did Clean Slate, but renewed, start over. My body was telling me that I wanted to start over.
Yeah.
I just didn't know. But I did the work, wax on, wax off.
Yeah.
And I learned the lessons.
Yes.
All right. I learned how to serve people from that state. Cleaning toilets. I said in my book that I found my calling in the toilet bowl. In cleaning the toilets, cleaning the crap, right, which I felt was me on the inside. I would sometimes clean a toilet and then sit on it and just look around the cubicle, not the cubicle, but the stall, to see what you would see if you were sitting there.
Right. And
that's how I would clean. That's how I would pay attention to all the details of things. But it was just a moment for me to just sit and reflect. Like, what, Gerren, like, why are you here? You placed yourself here.
Right.
It was because I needed to do a lot of work on myself. So over the years, man, things occurred. I wasn't a great communicator due to some other trauma that I had as a kid. I felt rejected. I defined some moments in my life as rejection. So I rejected others who showed me affection and love. There was just so much unrest, Jazz. And over the years, I finally decided to go to therapy. I spent a lot of time in there. I read a lot of books. I remember one thing that the therapist told me. She says, "Gerren, if you don't change, your wife is going to leave you." And I took it as physically leave as well as mentally leave.
Right.
And I wasn't having that. So I dug in and I began to study and commit myself to the journey of becoming a better human.
Mhm.
And that's how I judge myself. That's the framework in which I live and work and serve. Um, I give myself grace, but everything that I do is about becoming a better human. So
Yeah.
even us talking right now, this year I said this was going to be the year of yes. So
Mhm.
when you asked, the way that you asked, it was easy for me to just say yes.
I love that. Now, I listen. I'm not married, right?
Okay.
But I've had a lot of couples on my show. And I do want to say happy anniversary again to the Polites. They just celebrated 50 years of marriage and learning a lot of nuggets from them and just how to navigate through marriage because everybody's just telling me it's gonna come, Jazz. It's gonna come when you least expect it. That's all we hear as singles. It's gonna come when you're least expecting it. So I try not to expect it,
Okay.
thinking it's
Okay.
gonna so I take me into the room to that conversation with your wife because up until this point, because I know you guys, pillow talk is powerful. So
Yeah.
I know she had to know how you're feeling. I
Yeah.
know she had to know that you just needed something. But when you told her that that something is leading you into the janitorial services, how did she respond? Like,
Yeah.
is your wife in my brain, I just see her as being someone that is just going to trust your leadership as a husband. But what was that conversation like?
Yeah. Yeah. So prior to that moment at the restaurant, both she and I would wake up like tears running down our faces. Like, is
Yeah.
this what marriage is about? Is this what life is going to be about? Because I mean, we're newly in our careers. We're not feeling it.
Wow.
We're frustrated, and she was recruited by this company out of college, right? So she's been there all these years, but we were both frustrated. And we didn't know what was next
Mm-hmm.
because locked in her position. I had the flexibility to choose.
Gotcha.
When she saw the chills and she saw how it lit me up, like it was one of those like, uh-oh.
Yeah.
Okay, right?
Yeah.
I will tell you though, there was a discipline that I had to my work that she witnessed.
Mm-hmm.
She knew where I came from. She knew how my father worked. She knew my brother, my siblings. She knew that there was a discipline. My father always talked about you children need to have a system. He would always say that. And we were like, what do you mean? But he
Yeah.
said, children need to have a system. She witnessed that. So when I told her, I threw this in. I said, listen, hey, before we have kids, let me just try this out. I
Mm-hmm.
promise you that if it doesn't work out, I will go back and find another job. I'll work at McDonald's. I don't care. I will make sure that I can provide for this family. Just let's try it before we have kids, please.
Yeah.
She thought about it. She hooted and hawed. Our friends were like, what are you doing, Gerren?
Yeah.
You're trading in dressing up in slacks and a polo shirt and all that stuff to Allah,
Right.
She said, I trust you.
Mm.
Oh,
Mm.
that was fire for me, man.
Yeah.
And what I did, Jazz, was every day I would tell her, hey, here are the things that I'm going to do today, right? So you can hold me accountable.
Yeah.
And I would do those things, and I would come home all excited. Oh my God, Josie, you should have seen who I spoke to today. It was such an awesome conversation. I'm very animated, right? All
Yeah.
my hands, my body. And she would listen, and then she would say, Did we bring on a new client? No, Josie, we didn't. But the person was so awesome. And she's like, yeah, we gotta bring on clients.
Yeah.
So she kind of like helped me to course correct,
Yeah.
even with my excitement, because she knows that I love people. I love engaging with people, but I had to stay focused.
Mm-hmm.
She created such a calm, such a stable environment within our home, within our communication. She trusted me. She respected me.
Mm-hmm.
And she gave me the room to prove to myself first, not just to her, but to myself first, that I could do this. One. And she reaped the benefits of the momentum that I created.
Yeah.
Like, she created that space, man, for me. And over the years, I've been doing this for 20 years. There's been ebb and flow. And even when things aren't that great, and I would tell her about it, she just stays even keel. Even keel. And I don't.
Listen.
Oh my God.
Tell your wife she's who I aspire to be. Just tell her that, please.
Okay. She watched this.
Josie, I aspire to be just like you, but you've painted a picture of making it easy for someone, for your mate to be able to do that. And I think that is just the two pieces that have to go together, those two puzzle pieces that fit together. I think it has to be that formula in order for that to work.
Yeah, yeah, it really helps, man. It really helps because I mean, she recognizes over the years, man. I mean, I went from having perfect health to once I turned 40, high blood pressure kicked in. It's
Oh,
like,
wow.
right? And she knows the stress that I carry as an entrepreneur, and many entrepreneurs do. And there were times when even when things weren't that well financially, she would still purchase the same way. And I'm over here stressing like, yo, woman, don't you? I said, yo, things are tight. But I finally had the conversation with her and I said, hey, I am uncomfortable with the way that you spend, especially during these periods. And she says, Gerren, I'm sorry, but this is the way that I can keep things just even.
Yeah.
Like, I know it's not the best, but I can keep it stable that way. Even in my mind, I just keep things. And I respected that, right? Because it gave me the room that I needed, Jazz, to fix things. So even when things are really chaotic, she just says, Gerren, I know you figure it out.
Yeah. That I love that. Like I'm listening to this like she's talking to me. Like that's just it. Like I get so excited for couples who are able to do that for one another, because in all of this noise that we hear about relationships, that is like the calm for me, and even my approach to you when I'm in your inbox is like, look, I want you to know why I'm coming. This is why I'm coming at you. Like, I see something great in you. This is what I do. And I just want to spotlight that, and so moving into that space. And I just want to put this comment up for a second, because there is a reason why Mr. Wayne Taylor Jr.'s name keeps popping up. Alicia, how are you this evening? I want to meet him because in all of my advertising for this show and looking for great fathers, you have consistently put Wayne Taylor Jr. So Wayne Taylor Jr., I hope you are able to look at this episode tonight. I hope it touches you, and I hope we definitely connect, because I trust this lady right here. This lady is one of the dopest entrepreneurs that I know, and she has such a giving heart, a giving spirit. And so I just wanted to do that for you and Mr. Wayne Taylor, because I feel that there's something that's gonna come from that. And so go ahead.
I want to meet him too.
I know, right?
Right.
This guy has to be amazing, right? So I wanted you to tell me how you having faith in yourself, because your entire book is just about being willing to jump out there and live in your purpose. But you give these guidelines, these roadmaps on how to in fact do that. What was the spirit behind it and why you wanted to do it, but what made you jump into the arena of wanting to be an author? Like, okay, I'm this entrepreneur. I have a book to birth. Like, where'd that come from?
So my first business coach,
there we go. Say it again.
Yeah, my business coach.
Because to elevate, we gotta invest.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that too was a conversation I had to have with my wife, because it's like, where's the money coming from?
Listen.
Right. But investing in him, he was a older white gentleman from Salt Lake City, Utah. And he often joked, he says, who would have thought an old white man from Salt Lake City, Utah would be friends with a young black man from the Caribbean?
Yeah.
Who would have thought, right? But we had such a wonderful 4 years together, man. He said to me, his first question to me was, Gerren, very first question, how much money do you want to make? And I was taken aback. And I said, I hadn't thought about that, sir. I just want to be a better human.
Mm-hmm.
There was a long pause. He says, you have won the lottery. I said, excuse me? He says, don't worry about it. You have won the lottery. And what he meant by that was, he was so tired of just coaching people to make money. Here comes this guy who says he just wants to be a better human. That man said, I have been longing to pour into somebody all my mistakes, all my errors, all the things that I did well and the things that I did poorly over the years in a way that didn't reflect just money. And here you are. So you have won the lottery. And he poured into me. He poured into me, and he said to me, he says, Gerren, I can't speak to the people that you can speak to. And probably you can't speak to the people that I can speak to. But if you promise me that you will pour into your community in the way that I'm going to pour into you, I will give you everything I have.
Wow.
And he poured into me. He poured into me. I paid him for an hour, Jazz, and he would spend an hour and 15 minutes. And I'm like, excuse me, Eric, we're 15 minutes over. He said, excuse me, Gerren, I'm well aware of what time it is. Yes, sir. The hour 15 turned into 2 hours, turned into 3 hours, turned into him giving me his cell phone number. Call me anytime you want, Gerren. And I only paid him for the 1 hour. When I found out how much money he was making from the hour that I was paying him, because I was paying the company and they were paying him, I canceled the company and I gave it all to him.
Yeah.
Because he was so worth it. And then some. I met his family in Utah. I went out to visit him. He gave me all his tapes, his cassette tapes, his manuals from his old business. He gave me everything.
Wow.
And he said, just give to your community, Gerren.
Wow.
He died in 2016 of cancer. And that was the first time that I met him in person, like weeks before he died, because I asked for permission. Can I finally come and see you? And he said, yes. But having a coach has been everything.
Yeah.
If anyone in your audience is wondering whether or not a coach or an advisor is worth it, 1,000,000%.
They're going to love you for this.
1,000,000%.
They're going to love you for this, actually.
When I made my first $1 million, I didn't even know that I did. I was so focused on just serving and just learning, and he was teaching me. And anytime I felt like I had it all figured out, he would punch me in my stomach with work to do, because he knew I was committed to the work.
Yes.
That I would sometimes physically vomit because he was pushing me so hard.
Yeah.
But he never allowed me to focus on money. It was just on getting better.
Goodness grief. Like, I heard you when you said it, but it was like, I'm so interested as what's coming after that. But you're not going to skate over when you first made your first million, because that means that there was a consecutive, million that came behind that. And it came from you chasing your purpose, living in your passion, not with the ideal of, I have to make $1 million.
100%.
And see, that's what I find to be so fascinating. But I'm going to tell you, because I have that same mindset, it gets so frustrating. But I have not had a business coach now, I will say that. And I'm more open to it. And it's so crazy because people have just been coming to me, Jazz, what you have here, you can rival any, not that it's a rival, but you should be up there with like the top podcasts. Like, let me help you get there. Da 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 da. And it's just like, thank you, Lord. Like, that's what I need. But it's just like, I'm like, I want to make money too. But it's like, I've been doing this for purpose for like over 4, it'll be 4 years in November. So, but to hear you say that, and you don't even hold that $1 million or even being like maybe a multi-millionaire at the pinnacle, or that's paramount, you still bring it. It's going to be high. It's not low. You still bring it up to, I want to serve. I just want to serve. I just want that feeling that I got that day at the table. That's good stuff.
Listen, man, I have friends who have all kinds of exotic cars, right?
Yeah.
And I love them for it. I love the fact that I have friends who have that, and they have that stuff quietly. Okay, it's because they want to experience it for themselves.
Yeah.
So even when they're going out, they might go out at night so people don't see them, or they might have tinted so people don't see them. Right? They just want to live their own life in their own bubble. Because I get to experience that, when I see these cars on the road, it doesn't faze me. Like, it doesn't bother me, because my friend isn't even attached to those things. So he might have one day. I might leave and then come back the next week and it's another car. And I'm like, what's up? He's like, oh, I got to experience it, Gerren. I'm like, I wanted to experience something else.
Yeah.
It's like, okay. And it took me a while to understand it, because so many times people would just like, oh my God, I have to have this car. And for this friend of mine, it's not about that at all. It's just about the experiences that he's creating. He's stacking experiences. So for me, over the years, making money, losing money, you realize that it's fickle, right? It comes and it goes.
Yeah.
So if you put yourself on a pedestal because you made your 6 figures or your 7 figures or your 8 figures, you're still a human at heart.
Absolutely.
Who are you as a person, right? Are you serving others? Are you taking care of people? Or are you putting yourself on this pedestal above people? Because at this moment in time, you have this thing. It's just a thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so give us a title of your book, and then how to purchase it. What can we expect from it?
Yeah. So called Fast Track Your Calling,
Yeah.
right? Now, may not be the most sexiest of names. Well, the thought that I had behind it, Jazz, it said how to fuel your drive in every assignment.
Yes.
What I meant by that is, no matter where you are, you may think that once I get there, life will be better. There is
Yeah.
no there. Because
Yeah.
once you get there, you're going to be looking for there again.
Yeah.
Right now, where you are, you can begin to live out your purpose. You can begin to live out who you were created to be. My belief is that God created each and every one of us kind of like a fingerprint, right? We're all unique.
Mm-hmm.
And he wants to show a portion of himself through you to the world, right? The way that you do it, the way that I do it. I'm
Yeah.
an animated guy. Okay, you see me doing a lot of movements and there's a story behind that. But he wants to show the world himself through you. You can do that exactly where you are right now. You just got to look. You just need a new perspective.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? When I was working at that insurance company, because I love people so much and I love engaging with people, when I used to look up and see the queue with so many people in the queue, I used to look at that as being like, I got to answer the phone again versus I get to talk to somebody new, right? Had I shifted that, oh my God, I'd be having so many awesome experiences with people, helping and serving people and meeting new people every single day.
Yeah.
But I didn't see it that way. I saw it as being a thorn in my side and I had to get away from it. You out there in this world, who's watching this or listening to this, if you would just pay attention to who you have been created to be, the thing that you do so effortlessly, and if you started looking for opportunities within your job, within your place of employment right now,
Yeah.
you would recognize you have abundance everywhere. And I want you to just fulfill your assignment before you move on to something else. I mean, yeah, you'll get to do something cool, in another place. But if you would just fulfill the assignment that God gave to you right where you are right now,
That's a word. That's a word, and you're speaking to me, sir. That's a word. that is a word. And it is needed. But even before coming to this podcast episode, I promise you, like on my drive here, it was just something in me that just started thinking, you've had all these opportunities to do some magnificent things. And then my mind just went to, oh, that'd be so cool if I did da da da. And I promise you, I'm not even making this up. I started thinking about how people just frown at millennials or Gen X because it's just like, they treat jobs as they are just options. Like, if it doesn't move me today, I have options. I can go elsewhere. And I promise you, like even getting dressed for this episode, that thought was in my head. And I was like, but you know what? I started thinking about my position here and I'm like, Lord, I've been able to, because I looked within my job role, which I totally felt was just created just for me. And I'm just gonna say that. I tell my tell my head of schools that all the time.
Yeah.
I'm like, I got to be still in a leadership position from where I came from. And I got to do what I was already doing in the community and I get paid for it. I was doing it in the community for free. I'm offering enriching opportunities programming for students. And I get so much flexibility here. And it's just, I started looking into avenues of this year, how I'm going to structure my time within this organization, because it's a wonderful organization that I work for.
Yeah.
And that's where my mind was at. Like, I definitely didn't think we were going to like go there and say specifically like the things that you are saying, but that's where my mind was at. And it's just like, like people respect loyalty. People respect that longevity. And ultimately, yes, we have to listen to what God is telling us. But it's like, I love what you just said. Like, if you just look at what you get to do instead of I have to do this, but I get to, like you said, it's all about your perspective. And I absolutely love that. So thank you for that outlook on life and on things.
Absolutely. Well said. Listen, that's why I said even in the beginning when you did the introduction, you may or may not have been watching me in the backstage. Like, I was smiling as I listened to you. I'm just like, listen to her. Like, she's the good thing. Like, it felt so good. It looked so good. It sounded so good. Like, that's what I love, man. When you are doing the thing that you are created to do, it's effortless.
Yeah.
It's beautiful to experience. And if we can have more people around us living that type of life, like everywhere you turn, there'll be beautiful experiences just for you.
Yes, I agree. And thank you so much for recognizing that. Because yes, I do love it. I'm gonna give you something else that I've been thinking about, even because I came back to my office to kind of do this podcast episode. So I sent, before I went on vacation, I sent the janitorial staff an email because
Yeah.
I don't know if you can see my plant back here, but I kill plants and I've been trying to just be a great plant mother, right? And so, and it goes back to when my father passed in 2020. And I brought one of his peace lilies home with me. And I just, I don't know why I did this to myself. I was just like, I gotta, it just was a correlation to him. Like if I just want to keep this alive because it means so much.
Yeah.
It reminds me of him. The plant died. And
Oh.
I was just like, are you kidding me? Like, are
Ready to
you
keep the plant?
kidding me? And so, right. So I have another peace lily in my office.
Okay.
And one day I came in here, it was so hot in here and it was like dying. And I was, because we have a gardening enrichment, because I'm over our enrichments. And so one of our enrichments here is gardening. And I talked to the gardening instructor and I'm like, yo, what do I need to do? Because this is my goal. Like I've got it. I mean, you would have thought I was talking about a child. And so he's just like,
Yeah.
just water it. He's like, I'm looking at the soil and it's drinking too fast. It's thirsty. So it's like, Miss Bennett, just go ahead and just water it. So I'm like, I didn't get the faucet water. I went to the water fountains. I'm trying to just, nurture this thing, right? I came back the next day, that plant was flourishing. Like I literally screamed at my office and people were like, what is wrong? Like what? I'm like, have you seen my plant? I was like, did somebody switch out my plant? Like, did y'all trick me? Because y'all know I just want this plant to live. Yeah. And so they cracked up. They were like, no. And so what I'm getting at is when I went on vacation, I was like, oh my gosh, nobody's going to be there to take care of my plant. So I sent my janitorial staff an email and I said, could you guys please look out for my plant babies? Like, could you just please like water them? And they were just like, absolutely. So I came in and it's still flourishing.
Yeah.
And I said that to say the janitorial staff at any business, any place of business, whether it was a school that I've been at, I've always tried to be very close to the janitorial staff because like it is just, even when I deal with interior designers, just the way that you organize your space, the way that it makes you feel is paramount to the amount of work you're going to be able to get done or how you're going to be able to produce. And when I tell you this staff here, they love their job. That's one thing that I've always seen a commonality between the janitorial staff that I've ever been around. Yeah. Like, and that's just me, because I'm not saying that everybody's like that, but I love talking to them because they get a joy out of helping and serving. Like, so when I hear you talk, it's like you have to be that type of person to be in this field of work. And because I send like little emails like, thank you so much. Like this meant so much to me. Like I didn't even know that you were doing that, but my gosh, like thank you for even thinking about that. Like it makes you feel like you're loved when you come into a clean space. Mm-hmm. And I'm just like, and I do remember at one school, like one of the janitors, like he does his work and he goes home. Like everybody loves him, but it's not like I didn't take note that he drives a Corvette. It's just like, he's living the dream. It's like, let me come in here, do my work. I'm still a person outside of this. I don't know what you heard about janitors, but I'm happy.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that.
You said it, right? I'm still a person outside of this. Like, yes. Right. I had so many employees that I had to like let them know that, because they would work in the hospitality, like hotels and so forth in the day, and then they'll come and work with us at night. When I would engage with them and ask them like some personal questions, like how are you doing? Like what's going? Like what are you going to do this weekend? Right? You would see them like light up to like you're really interested in me. Like because you are still a person outside of this role.
Right.
So many people they get attached to their roles, and that's people who are in leadership roles as well as people who are in the lower roles. They get so attached to their roles and they believe like that's them.
Yeah. It's not. Yeah. So listen, one of the things that is paramount, and then what this episode is definitely talking about the comeback, and you kind of have given me a trajectory of that. But one of the things that you have been called to do is to be a great father.
Yeah.
And the videos that I've seen of you with your girls, man, your communication skills as a father, but also your listening skills as a father, and just being able to tap into the emotions of your children, that's beautiful.
Thank
It
you.
is so beautiful. And this is coming from a daddy's girl, bona fide daddy's girl, like me knowing that he was my safe space. There is nothing better than that to me.
Yeah.
Other than the love that I received from my kids that I have now, my two boys that I have now. And so tell me about your journey into fatherhood, sir, because you
Yeah.
did all of this hard work before the kids
Yeah.
came, which was smart,
Yeah.
very
Yeah.
smart. So tell me about your journey into
Yeah.
fatherhood.
I
Look at your
so
whole demeanor. You're like,
oh, you see that? Stop it. I so adore my kids, man. I so adore my kids, and I love them. I love them. Jazz, man. Listen, my wife and I, we had a turbulent time having kids, man.
yeah,
We're talking about probably 4 or 5 miscarriages.
wow,
A stillborn. I had a son. Our first kid was a son. He was stillborn, and it was tough for us. We thought about adopting. We thought about doing foster parenting, IVF, IU, all kinds of whatever those things are, right?
yeah,
Um, it was only until, and you said this earlier, it was only until we said, I'm not going to pay attention to this whole having kids thing. We just, all of a sudden, bloop, bloop, kids. Yeah, what? But here's the thing though, for me, the journey, because it was difficult for me to be there for my wife. And then also because I was working through the rejection, the feeling of rejection and rejecting things that loved me. Every time we had a miscarriage, it was another rejection to me. It was hitting me.
mm-hmm,
So I was pushing that away, but then my wife still needed me.
yeah,
So I was in this dance, like double dutching, right? And but my first daughter, who was born, Madison, I remember me committing to believing that she was going to finally make it. So I would talk to my wife's stomach and say, "Come to daddy, just come to daddy, come to daddy."
yeah,
When she finally came out and she cried, it was everything for me.
yeah,
And at that moment, I decided in my business, I said, I want to be a present father. So I wasn't going to be going to doing all the networking events that I used to do before. I wanted to be home to pick them up, take her to school or take her to daycare, put her to sleep at night. I wanted to be there. And I created the business in a way which allowed me to do that. And I sacrificed a lot, right? Making extra money or what have you, but I was committed to being a parent. So for the past 10, 12 years, I've been like really into them. And I wanted to share with them because I know that life is fickle. I wanted to share with them as much as I possibly could so that they can be able to stand on their own.
mm-hmm,
So my commitment to my wife was, hey, listen, no matter whatever happens to us, I want you to be able to stand on your own. If we were to divorce for whatever reason or what have you, like I want you to be able to stand on your own.
yeah,
Yes, a man loves a woman to depend on him. Great. But I also want to bolster her so that she could stand on her own.
yeah,
So I do this with my daughters, and I've been talking to them and teaching them everything that I would learn. So even as I'm learning stuff in therapy, I would share little nuggets to them. And I said, it don't make sense right now, but
yeah,
a little while, when it happens, we'll talk about it, right? But just let it plant the seed in your brain. And I'm doing all of this because if something happens to me, if I were to die or what have you, I want my kids to be able to carry on with something, right? And I figured that giving them this was much better than just putting money in their hands as a legacy. Yeah,
yeah,
you can make money, you can lose money. But if I could instill into them the richness of what it is to be human, what it
mm-hmm,
is to serve others, that can last forever.
yes,
Ever. So I've been committed to that. Most recently, again, 12 and 11 right now. Yep, 12 and 11. They're telling me now, like, Daddy, like, okay, you could go back to networking. You could go back to doing this stuff. We're good now,
I've learned, Father.
yeah. And they laugh at my conversations with them. They call them AI conversations. I don't know why, but they have between my wife and I, we have tag team. We do a powerful job of being present for them. My
Yeah,
wife, daily conversations with them, and the door is always open. Even when they say things that's off the wall, we don't react. We
yeah,
might talk to them about how better to say that, but the door is open as much as possible so that we can communicate. So
I love that. And
Yeah.
so how does your family play a big part of that? Because the picture that you described, you depicted in terms of, spending summers as a kid in the DR,
Hmm.
with your father teaching you these lessons. Like, how do they look at you as a father? Like, is this like surreal for them? Was it at the beginning like surreal for them, or like how do they see you?
Yeah, yeah. So we've done our best to, because our kids get to do a lot of things that we haven't done. So I don't know, if you take your kids on trips and stuff that you may not have been able to do when you were younger or what have you. We do a lot of those things for them, right? But we
Mhm.
also create environments where they have to tough it out.
Yeah.
And we don't help them. We give them tools and say, like, hey, remember the conversation we had before? Like, I see you're going through something now. What do you think you should do? Right. So we there's always a training ground, and then there's always love and affection.
Hmm.
I will tell you, man, my daughters, um, mm, so I told you that my communication wasn't that great.
Yeah.
Um, and and in my family, we didn't show love by showing a lot of affection, hugging and all that, right?
Hmm.
But it was a lot of, you had food on the table, you got to go to school, you went to church, you had those things, the key things.
Yes.
My daughters, the youngest one, she comes in and she gives hugs all the time. So
That's
she,
about my 12-year-old little boy. Well,
see,
he's 11. He's like, Mom, I'm 11, not 12. I don't know why I want to make this boy 12 already. He will be 12 in January.
Mhm.
So
He's the hugger, like he gives hugs.
he is like, what do they call he's the Velcro kid. Like
Mm,
he's the Velcro baby. He will be up under me. He will be in my skin
mm,
could. And it's like he's just so connected to me emotionally.
yeah,
It's so surreal. Like he just gives love on that scale. And my 16-year-old is so relaxed. He's always been independent. He
mm,
doesn't like hugs. It just that's not his thing. Like that physical touch thing, he could do without it. But he will give you his last. Like when he's eating his food, like I notice things about him. He will give me his last bite
yeah.
without even thinking about it. Like he's observant. Like
Oh,
he comes in like when I know you need this right here.
yeah,
That,
right.
that's their ways of love.
That's the way yeah. So it's beautiful to experience, man. Seeing how our kids, um, how their personalities intertwine with who we are and what we actually needed,
Yeah,
right?
yes, yes,
So for me, because I grew up in a household where there wasn't a lot of affection, my daughter just gives these hugs, and I in the beginning I used to run from her in the house, like literally hide from her, because I knew that she wanted to get another hug. I'm just trying to sneak out to leave in the middle of the night.
yes.
She's coming, Daddy, Daddy, call me on the phone. I'm supposed to give you a hug.
Hug.
So just appreciating receiving a hug, man.
Yeah,
It has softened me around the edges. I can still be a dude, but I
yeah,
but I recognize and I understand the power of connection,
yes,
on an emotional, intimate level, and that's what my girls have given to me, given to us in this home. Um, it's wonderful, man. Kids are awesome to have, man,
yeah,
especially when you give them the right tools. It's
yeah.
awesome.
I like how you what I find when I talk to fathers. There's different perspectives on what a great father is. Just for me, it is someone who's able to definitely actively engage with their child.
Yeah,
I think a great parent is measured by if the other parent weren't there, could they pick up? And I feel that if each parent can pick up where
mhm,
the other left off and make it as whole and complete as possible, I feel that you've done your job as a parent.
yeah,
I co-parent with my son's father,
mhm,
and it definitely needs work. We need work. Like we used to be so great, but we
yeah,
need work, 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 work. And so, for instance, like I used to always want him to be strong in the areas that I was strong in because my mental was always, well, what if something happens to me? Like I still want them to have a solid, parental environment. And so like I'm the school person, right? I know everything about the school. And I remember just like I would write him scripts. Like, I want you to do this conference. I'm not even gonna go. You do this conference, you ask, boom, 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 boom. If they
yeah,
say this, then you say this. If they like it was kind of like that kind of a engine for me because just them having an active father was so important. Like when he couldn't even see them, I would drive to him and make sure that he saw them. Like, it was just so important to me,
Yeah.
my boys, especially my boys, and it's not just especially for boys, but for me, for my boys to just have a solid, male figure in their lives. And so, like, when I look at parenthood and then what a great father should be, some people feel like, okay, the man has the weight of the world on him, and including what's out there in the world and then what's in the household. And so they're like, if that man goes to work and that man is a provider, they've
Yeah.
had a good father. That's it. They've had a good father. And then you have someone like me coming on, and I'm like, yeah, but because my father was that type of father. My father would take calls like he was a doctor, and he worked for a mine, like a phosphate mine, but they would consistently call him because he was one of the few workers that knew how to work a machine. So
Hmm.
even after his 12-hour shift, they were still calling him, right?
Hmm.
And so, but what I remember about that man, like, that man would have intentional conversations with me still. He would take me on fishing trips. It's like, I don't even know how he got all that strength to do it, but it's like he would work like a dog, but then he would still make sure he had that one-on-one time, to instill some things in me. And
Yeah.
so I'm that type of person. It's like, if you have to do all of the work, because we have to work, like you said, be intentional about, I am going to give my all in parenthood as well. And like, that is just like the number one thing that just really just it gets under my skin when it's like so much time is going outside of
Yeah.
kids when it
Yeah.
needs to, like, they need, like, my son is about to go off to college next year, and I'm just like, I haven't
Oh,
taught him everything that he needs to know.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
just like I need to create a manual right now, like how to wash your clothes, like how to save on meals when you. I'm just like, my mind is like, I am
Mm.
just like this child. Like, I'm teaching him how to drive right now. Lord have mercy.
Mm.
He's doing a good job, because if he's
Yeah.
watching, he's doing a good job, baby. He's up off the break. He's up off the
Good.
break. But
Good.
but it's
Good.
it's just it's a lot. Being a
Yeah.
parent is I feel like being a parent is your number one job in life. Like, you want to build a career, you want to know what your passion is, but you're not going to be here forever. And your kids are. You are going to leave a human behind. And what have you given to that human? Like, what legacy did you leave? That's how I look at it. So I try to pour everything in me. And like you said, with the trips,
Yeah.
they're coming. I want them to have experiences. I just want them to experience so much in life and know so much in life and be great humans and give back to people. That's what I'm instilling. So
Yeah, yeah, and even as you say that, right? So even the trips that we've taken our kids on, I would tell them, I said, "Hey, ladies, listen, you you've been fortunate to travel to these places.
yeah,
When you get older and you meet a guy and he wants to take you to some of these places that you've gone already, do your very best to honor this moment for him.
yes,
It'll be different than when daddy and mommy took you, right?
right.
Don't don't crap on him. Like like make it brand new again because it's a new experience,
A new experience.
So it's for me as a male, it's been really not tough, but it's been interesting just sharing with them how to balance all that they've been able to experience. Again, being great human beings, man. I also engage them in some of the challenges that we face within our company. So when we're going around the house and I'm saying, hey, turn off these lights, stop letting the water run. Hey, listen, no, we can't go out for dinner today. No, all of these different things. I
Yeah,
sit them down and I tell them, like, here's what's really happening in our business right now, and here's why I need you guys to like tighten up and to be a part of the team, right?
awesome.
So we take care of our home together, right? Because there could come a time where we don't get to live in this house or we don't get to drive this car. Like, it can come. I want to make sure that they always on the edge of, like, tomorrow isn't promised.
Yeah,
So honor what you have right now.
absolutely.
So yeah.
Yeah. I want to ask you this question, just outside of the box of thinking.
Sure.
With what you know in your 47 years of manhood,
Hmm.
and we talk about the comeback on this show, if you were to lose everything today,
Yeah.
what principles that you have within you that will allow you to get back to where you need to be?
The fact that I love people. And when I see people, I see stories.
Mm-hmm.
And I honor that. Like I take, for instance, right now people are freaking out about AI.
Yeah.
I'm not. And not because it isn't a serious threat. I was created in the image of God.
Yeah.
You can't mess with me. Like we created AI, right? And no matter what it can do, like we were created in the image of God.
Mm-hmm.
That means we have something that's better than, right?
Yeah.
If, and
Yes.
and if I can just use what He has given to me, like when He built it into my, like when you have an iPhone, that you have your built-in presets. If I just use that,
Yeah.
I'm good. There's purpose here for me somewhere. I just need to align myself with that thing.
Yeah.
I would go out and I would meet people and tease up their greatness and celebrate their greatness and get curious about them. And I would do that until money starts flowing all over again.
Absolutely. Absolutely. When I say one of the second pinnacles, because the first formula to a comeback is, you having God in your life and you really honing into your faith. And then that second principle of the formula is making sure that you use your resources, but you use the right resources, but you use them effectively. And in our conversation that we had before the show, I was
Mhm.
telling you, it took me some experiences to know, because I know a lot of people, and I think that's just a God-given thing. Like I just naturally, people gravitate to me.
Yeah.
Naturally, people trust me. They trust my opinion. They trust that whatever they talk to me about or whatever they trust me with, it's going to be something for the good. Like they don't
Mhm.
see me as a taker. They see
Mhm.
me as a giver. And so I am so blessed with that, and I thank God for that every day, because it's no room that I've been in wherever I am where I don't know at least one person. And I just every time that happens, I'm like, okay, God, help me to use this. How do you want me to use this to better myself, to better my community? Like, what is it? And so it took me a while to say, you may have these resources and they may be the right resources, but are you using them effectively?
Yeah.
And so you go through your comeback. In order to make your comeback, that's the middle principle. And so when you found your business coach, that was the resource that you really needed that helped you to elevate now. And so what resource would you use in that scenario if you lost it all again? Like where are you going? What's your
Yeah.
resource?
So without a doubt, like right now, I am between coaches. Like I am searching for another coach.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
it's it's critical to surround yourself with someone who is just even 2 miles ahead of you. And I talked about it in the book, right? Where it's like if you're 2 miles down I-4 and you know that there's an accident, and I know that you're coming behind, how powerful is it for me to give you a call and say, "Hey, Jazz, there's an accident by Fairbanks. Take
Yeah.
me," right?
Yeah.
You would love me for that. And that's what coaches and consult, not even consultants, but coaches and advisors actually do, man. They are a couple miles down the road and they're just turning around and giving you some advice so that it can help you course correct. So I'll be looking for someone just like that. And I'll tell you this, Jasmine, I don't know if you have this in your circle of friends, but having friends around you uh, who excel in what they do is so powerful to have, because you have different perspectives and there's wisdom in those perspectives. It's
Yes.
not just someone yapping at the mouth. There's wisdom there. And when all of us come to the collective, like we begin to talk and we share a problem and we all share a perspective, power.
Yeah.
It's so powerful to have. And I'll say this, man. My wife, a couple years ago, she told me, she says, "Gerren, be a friend." She challenged me to be a friend. And I was like, "What do you mean? Like, I am a friend." She's like, "Be a friend, Gerren."
Yeah.
And when I started leaning into my friends and they started leaning in and we all started leaning, it became so powerful to have. So even if you don't have a coach, surround yourself with someone or people who are smarter than you
Yes.
and
Yes.
glean from that wisdom, man.
Yeah, that's really good. That's really good. So is there anything that we haven't touched that you want to discuss? Is there anything that you want to promote or advise
Yeah,
before we end this episode, which has been amazing, and thank you so much for it.
I'm glad. Run a poll with your audience first to make sure like this is really amazing and right?
It is.
So I'm a part of a couple different projects, right? So right now I am working with a friend of mine. His name is Mr. James English. He and his wife Christina English. She's also one of your sisters.
Stop it. I
yeah.
know exactly who you are talking
Will
about.
you?
So listen, so Ready, Set, Grow, right?
That's my
What,
guy.
what did I tell? I'm telling you, I'm not fluffing. I am telling you, like, it's no room that I go in and I don't know at
You
least.
don't know somebody. Yeah,
That's
100%.
crazy.
100%.
So you
That's my
know
guy.
him.
Like those are my people.
That's crazy.
Those are my people.
That's crazy. I am gonna
Yeah.
inbox her right after this episode because I'm getting to know her. Like I don't know her like that.
Yeah.
I probably know her mom.
Yeah,
but
she
I
said
don't
that
know her.
you're in the marketing farm.
But that's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Okay, I'm
Doing
sorry.
that, working with them on those projects. Yep.
That's
Working.
crazy.
Yeah, I'm glad that you're loving this too, right?
That's just so crazy to me. Good Lord. Okay.
Life
Okay.
is full circle. It's full circle. There's this. I'm working on this project called Chasing Wisdom,
Yes.
where I'll go out and I'll meet people on the road and just begin talking to them and extrapolate wisdom from them. It's like the people that you meet at the corner store, the coffee shop, the people that you wouldn't even think about. They're loaded with wisdom. So I want to pull some of that and share that with the world. I'm in business with my brother in the Caribbean. We have a fueling distribution company called Bunjix Energy. 2 years in, my brother, he's running it. His name is Gerren Sprauve. It's another G. What else, man?
You're diversified. Is
There's
what you
stuff
are.
going on. Yeah. It's all with that same core belief of serving.
Yeah.
That's it. It's serving others, man. Even Ready, Set, Grow, serving others. Others. It's a beautiful thing, man. So again, surrounding yourself with some awesome people like that keeps life exciting.
I love that, man. And then in that Ready, Set, Grow, I remember I was saying that like I don't know. I just started saying that like I think it was like maybe even 2015 because I used to just do a hashtag like Ready, Set, Grow. And so when I saw that, I think I was on Instagram one day and I saw her because she doesn't even really post a lot on social at all. But it's like when I saw her, she posted that and I was like, what is that? So now I'm going to really go and do my research and find out what it is because it caught my attention because I was like, I used to use that same term too. So I want to find out what they're doing. And I just think she's so good. It's like she needs to be in front of something, like talking to people.
I'm glad you say this. And by the way, they may be watching too anyways, right? Because her husband did ask me for the link and so forth to jump on. We've been telling her that also.
Have you?
Yeah. And even when she and her husband does their recordings, I'm like high-fiving her, like, yeah. But she, with her nonchalant personality, will just
right. So, sis, if you are hearing this, like I know we are not like tight like that, but you are my sis, and so use what you hear people telling you. You know, you like if you keep hearing it over and over, it's a reason that you're hearing it over and over, and use that power. Use that power to elevate whatever it is that you're trying to do. So I'm proud of y'all. That is so amazing. I love that.
There we go. Yeah, some of the things that we're doing.
Cool beans. And so tell us how we can purchase the book.
Yep.
I'm gonna get that.
Yeah, so you can jump on Amazon. Fast Track Your Calling. That should pop up. You use my name, that'll pop up. And then of course anyone can follow me on all social platforms. I keep it very simple. I just use my name. Right.
Okay.
And that way you'll learn what I'm doing next.
Okay. And then with the janitorial business, so are you only commercial? Like how does that work?
So primarily commercial. We used to be commercial and residential, but we're primarily commercial. So we focus on that. That company is called Clean Slate Janitorial Service. You can find us online too. You can Google us and all that good stuff. But yeah, we're doing what we're doing out there in the world, man.
I love it. And I just want to say just from me on this particular platform, like thank you for blessing the podcast. Thank you for giving me your time because I really don't treat that lightly. You know, time is something we don't get back. And so I truly hope that this hour and about 15 minutes that you've spent with me, I hope it has been well worth it.
Yeah. I appreciate you even reaching out.
Listen, this was a God thing. And so I appreciate your yes, very, very appreciative of that. And I just hope that, someone who's looking at this, someone who's listening to it, like you truly hone in on the principles that Gerren has shared, his life experiences. Like he just told you that he's traveling around just asking people for nuggets of wisdom. And you have given so much wisdom in this podcast that I truly hope that it affects everyone. But more importantly, I hope it affects a male, because males hold such a critical place in the household, and that's biblically. And I respect what the Bible says, right? And so I just want men to feel appreciated. I just want men to know that even if they're not getting it right with their kids now, I hope that the door is still open for them to get it right. Like there's I just feel like that is something that you should never give up on. And to the mothers out there, I hope you are receptive. It is both, it goes both ways. Both parties want to be respected, both parties want to be loved, both parties want to be listened to, both parties, should want the best interests of their kids at heart. And so if that is truly the mission, that is truly the vision, if that is truly what your heart work is about, you got to come together to do it, and let the man be the father. Like, let him be the father, and fathers be receptive to all of the good nuggets of what makes a father. You may not have had a great father in your life, but that does not indicate the type of father that you're going to be. There are too many resources out there that will help you become a great dad. I had gentlemen that talked about Team Dad and Dad Mode, literally courses that you can take online where they will walk you through step by step. This is where you start, and we build a village around you to help you get there. So there's the resources. And then you have great guys like Gerren that have just shared his story and shared what he does with his family. So it's there. So just reach out, reach out to someone. You don't have to do it by yourself, but be a good dad. All right.
I love it. I love it. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for acknowledging us and creating this platform for us to even share this. And yeah, everything that you said, I totally agree.
Yeah.
Appreciate
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. And so make sure you guys save that date. Hopefully you and your family will be able to come. It is November 8th. It's a live podcast experience. And so I would love for you to be there. Bring Christina and her husband along with you too. I would love to see you guys. And so thank you so much, Gerren. This has been a powerful episode of the Jazzie Conversations with Jazz. That is Jazzie Conversations with Jazz. Episode 157 is stamped, sealed, and it is now delivered to you. And so please be a friend of the show. Subscribe to the podcast on my YouTube channel. Make sure that you follow, you like, you comment, you engage. And if you catch the replay in the comment section, please comment replay and give us a review. We want to know how this episode affected you. And so hopefully it does in a great space. Make sure you go out and you get Gerren's book. It is available online on Amazon. You can find him on all social media platforms, Gerren Sprauve. On all social media platforms. Follow, subscribe, like, comment on all of his work as well. And we will definitely see you back here on next Monday for episode 158. Thank you so much again, Gerren. Have a great night. Tell your wife I said hello. Tell your two I said hello as well.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Have a good night.
All right.